What if I told you that a simple mistake in a messy lab ended up saving millions of lives? Imagine a moldy petri dish, something most scientists would throw away, holding the secret to the world's first true antibiotic. This accident would go on to change medicine forever. Before this discovery, the world was a very different place. Infections were terrifying. A small cut on your hand, a scratch from a rusty nail, or even giving birth could turn deadly. There were no strong medicines to fight bacteria. Doctors tried what they had, but most treatments were weak, toxic, or simply didn't work. Once an infection spread in the body, there was almost nothing anyone could do. Families often watched helplessly as loved ones died from wounds or diseases we can easily cure today. In 1928, a London doctor and scientist named Alexander Fleming was studying dangerous bacteria called Staphylococcus. He left his lab for a short holiday, and when he came back, something unusual caught his eye. One of his petri dishes had been contaminated with mold. Instead of ignoring it, Fleming looked closer. To his surprise, the bacteria around the mold had died. It was as if the mold was fighting back and killing the germs. He identified it as Penicillium and named the powerful substance it released Penicillin. What looked like a messy mistake was actually a life-saving discovery. At first, many people didn't take Fleming's discovery seriously. To them, it was just an interesting accident with no real use. The problem was clear. The mold was hard to grow, difficult to purify, and almost impossible to produce in large amounts. Doctors couldn't rely on a drug that existed only in tiny drops. For more than a decade, penicillin remained an exciting idea, but not a practical medicine. Everything changed years later. A team led by Howard Florey, Ernst Chain, and other researchers picked up Fleming's forgotten work. They worked day and night isolating the substance, purifying it, and testing it on mice. The results were astonishing. When they tried penicillin on a dying patient with a severe infection, Fleming began to recover within just 24 hours. For the first time, doctors had something that could stop deadly bacterial infections. But there was still one big problem: supply. They needed much more penicillin to treat patients. Scientists searched for better strains of mold and found one growing on a simple cantaloupe in a market. This version produced far more penicillin. New methods like deep tank fermentation finally made it possible to produce the drug in huge amounts. Just in time for World War II, penicillin became widely available, saving the lives of thousands of wounded soldiers and millions of civilians. The effect was nothing short of revolutionary. Penicillin transformed medicine. Infections that once killed with ease were now treatable. Soldiers survived wounds that would have been fatal. Children and adults recovered from illnesses that once had no cure. Penicillin marked the birth of the antibiotic era, and from that moment, the world would never be the same. The story of penicillin teaches us something important. Sometimes the biggest discoveries come from mistakes. Fleming's dirty dish could have been thrown away, but his curiosity made him look deeper. It also shows that science is teamwork. Fleming made the discovery, but it took many others to turn it into a real medicine. And it reminds us that discovery is only the first step. Production and persistence matter too. But there's also a warning. The miracle of penicillin is under threat. Overuse and misuse of antibiotics have made many bacteria resistant. In some cases, infections are once again becoming harder to treat. It shows us that scientific discoveries, no matter how powerful, must be protected and used wisely. In the end, a simple accident changed medicine forever. A moldy dish that should have been forgotten instead became the key to saving millions of lives. It makes you wonder, how many world-changing discoveries are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice?